All right, we're on to record number 3 for today. The spoiler-free review of Black Spire by Delilah S. Dawson, author of the fantastic stories, in my opinion, Phasma and Perfect Weapon. Now, I did say that I was going to stop just doing spoiler-free reviews versus spoiler reviews. I don't like releasing 2 different videos and filming 2 different videos and editing 2 different videos, because usually I can give you guys my opinions on a book without any spoilers and tell you the general tone and understanding of what a book contains, what the story contains. With that being said, I can't do that with this book because there's a lot of stuff that happens that needs to be unspoiled, that I need in order to express my thoughts fully. So, I'm going to try and keep this video completely spoiler-free. Any spoilers that I do manage to say will be edited out, so you guys are good and clear on that front. It's a really damn good book. Delilah S. Dawson knocks this out of the park again, in my opinion. Phasma was fantastic. Perfect Weapon was really, really compelling for such a short story. I'm going to even say that I might like Black Spire more than I liked Phasma, and I really liked Phasma. That might just be because I feel like I can relate to this book a little bit better. There's quite a bit of extra world building. There's a lot of politics stuff going around. I always felt a little bit disconnected while reading Phasma, in particular. Like, it felt like I was more... it felt kind of like I was reading an account of something that might have happened, which I guess is kind of true because there was like it was going, like, the whole story of Phasma herself as a character was going through 2 different tiers of unreliable narrators. First, Vimerati, while being tortured, was telling Cardinal what she heard from another person who allegedly hung out with Phasma during her origin story. So it's going through 2 levels of narrators, and I guess I felt a little bit disconnected a little bit whenever I was listening and reading to Phasma, because I listened to it and read it. Anyways, that's enough about a book that I've already have a review up for on the channel, and a book that I think that everybody should read. Getting back to Black Spire itself, this book is a really moving story about found family and acceptance and finding your place in all of this, as Rey says in The Last Jedi. And it feels very... It's got almost like a tabletop RPG quality. Like, if you've ever played Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder or GURPS or any of the White Wolf games or whatever, correction, let's back that up. It feels like a Dragon Age game or a Mass Effect game. Vimerati gets sent off to Black Spire Outpost with 2 people. And then luck happens. Bad luck happens a lot. And Vimerati has to deal with it. And she effectively spends the first 80% of the book is basically just Vimerati trying to scrape together a resistance cell. It takes until damn near the last 20% of the book, really, for any real resistance versus first order action starts. Otherwise, this is basically a survival game where she's just running around trying to stay alive while also collecting allies and resources and ways to actually carry out her orders from Leia to establish a resistance presence and a resistance refueling station, way station, whatever you want to call it, on Batuu. And for the record, I'm not considering that a spoiler. Sorry, because that happens in like chapter 2 of this book. So yeah. And some of the most wonderful characters are in this. I'll mention them in my spoiler review and talk about them in my spoiler review, but there is a lovable farm boy and a person who's been mistreated their entire lives and another person who's been mistreated their entire lives. And there's another fantastic droid character, and there's a fun smuggling character. And I think that's where I was going with the D&D thing, but it's very Dragon Age or Mass Effect-y, where you get a new, really fun, colorful, fantastical companion who is very different from every other companion. And you do really kind of sink into that storytelling structure. It's really fascinating. Let me see here. I wrote down a really meaningful thing when I was reading it. Yeah, I called it in my notes a team building engine for the story. That's what motivates this whole story is, okay, she runs into this person and recruits them. Okay, now she has to deal with problems for that person or revolving around that person, or that person then provides a new talent or new knowledge that then propels the story forward. And that's a really fascinating and very, in my opinion, very efficient way to drive a plot forward. And yeah, I'm not going to call this an absolute must-read for all Star Wars fans. I'm going to call it a must-read for all sequel trilogy Star Wars fans. And anybody who's really big into the OT would probably get a big kick out of it too. Or the Clone Wars even could be a really good, if you're a big Clone Wars fan, I think that you would definitely enjoy this book, even though it's not anywhere near the Clone Wars in terms of timeline-wise. And I think my last point on this, in the spoiler-free review at least, is just the general vibe of the story, the general feeling of the story. It's got a lot of Indiana Jonesiness in it. It's got a lot of the Goonies in it. It's got a lot of Red Dead Redemption. And I mean, the thing is that the point of Batuu and Black Spire Outpost is that it is a frontier town way out on the edge of the known galaxy. Galaxy's edge, right? And it was good. There was a couple of moments at the beginning where I'm like, okay, I understand. Yeah, okay, yeah, I know. I can go and buy Ronto meat. I know. But I've already kind of whined about that like a child in my review of Crash of Fate. And if I'm being honest, at the end of the day, I kind of realized now after listening to Black Spire that of course you're going to do that as an author. And then you find out, oh, okay, there's this shop here inside of the Star Wars land, inside of Galaxy's Edge, that's named this, run by this proprietor, and they serve this. Of course they're going to put that in their book because it's there. It's already created. You don't need to invent it. I get that. And I imagine that the story group probably isn't super crazed, and Disney Parks is not super crazed about people just throwing in random new stuff either, in these little novels. Anyways, yeah. So I retract my statement from Crash of Fate. Anyways, at the end of the day, final spoiler-free thoughts on Black Spire. Buy it. It's a good book. I think that it does a lot to flesh out the feeling and the attitude and the emotional canon of the sequel trilogy, an understanding of the politics, which I'll get into in the spoiler review, which I'll be filming just after this. And yeah, it's a good book. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. And as always, may the Force be with you. Take care.